question. What actually is MENSA? Hi, hello, welcome to the channel. My name is Cassandra and this is where I typically start out somehow like struggling AF, not having a good day, and then progressively throughout the video I start to feel better as I do things to entertain myself and then put them on the internet to maybe entertain you as well. So if that tickles your pickle, go ahead and subscribe if you haven't already. Winking and all that. And this is episode 2 of a new series on my channel called Let's Learns, where we start with a simple question and then as we try and find out the answer, we just see where it takes us and enjoy the ride, okay? So if you just clicked on this because you were only interested in finding out the answer to what is MENSA in the simplest, quickest way possible, sorry to disappoint you, that's not what this is going to be. But yeah, let's go ahead anyway and see what we can find out. So yeah, what actually is MENSA? I remember like kind of hearing about it when I was very, very young, but I don't actually really understand what it is. And it came to my mind again recently because like I saw some Mr. Ballin video that had something to do with people in MENSA. Let's just go quickly check like what the hell that is. YouTube, because you know I like to reference and credit people and whatever. Mr. Ballin, something to do with geniuses. Yeah, secret group of geniuses that kill for fun, and they were like in MENSA or some shit, okay? And I just remember like hearing something about MENSA when I was little, but I don't actually know what it is. So yeah, let's find out. What is MENSA? It's something to do with like people who are officially like smart. I think from that introduction I may not qualify. Let's go ahead and see what does Wikipedia say. Shall I make this bigger for you, my dears? Okay. MENSA is the largest and oldest high IQ society in the world. What the hell is a high IQ society? An organisation that limits its membership to people who have attained a specified score on an IQ test, usually in the top 2% of the population or above. These may also be referred to as genius societies. Huh, so there's actually more than one of these things? Interesting. It's a non-profit organisation open to people who score at the 98th percentile or higher on a standardised and supervised IQ or other approved intelligence test. It's got national groups, it's got the registered office in England, which is separate from the British MENSA office. Oh, I thought that was going to be like a separate organisation, but they're just saying it's 2 different offices. Yeah, I don't really care. MENSA is Latin for table, which is symbolised in the logo, and it was chosen to demonstrate the round table nature of the organisation. But what the fuck do they actually do? Like, sure, it's an organisation, but what do like what for? Just to like get together and laugh about how much smarter they are than everyone else? I don't know. Let's see. It has gatherings and shit. But then, like, literally, what do they do? Yeah, demographics. All national MENSAs have to accept children. However, some don't test the children themselves. Many offer other activities, resources, and newsletters specifically geared towards gifted children and their parents. The youngest members joined at the age of 2. Wow. Okay, so I don't imagine them like reading and completing the test that way. So I guess that's why other activities are allowed. But I don't know, maybe because they're so fucking smart, they are already reading and writing in that age. I don't know. The Stanford Binet IQ test. Okay, let's tab that in another browser because I think we gonna have to find out what the fuck my IQ is. Oh, hilarity ensues. Do you know what I mean? Like I come on here like I don't know if y'all are aware, but I actually have a majority shareholder stake in Struggle Bus Inc. So whenever I do these videos, I do take the struggle bus here, and then eventually at some point throughout, I think about alerting from said bus into some sort of like entertainment, giving me the will to fucking get on with the rest of my day. So yeah, you don't have to have come here on the struggle bus too. You can, you know, find your own means of transport. But let's hope that we can have some fun together, okay? Anyway, let's continue. So blah blah. Oh yeah, we were talking about the demographics, right? So the general classifications and published demographics, its membership is 8% from the silent generation, like silent movies and shit. 37% baby boomers, 30% Gen X, 10% millennial, 12% Gen Z. So they are still then like getting membership requests and stuff like that then, right? They must be. The remaining 3% other. American MENSA general membership identifies 64% male, 32% female, 3% unknown, and less than 1% gender non-conforming or other. See, this is the thing as well, right? Because like this is based on standardized IQ tests and other like intelligence tests and stuff like that. Don't like IQ tests and stuff have like a whole fucking load of like bias and stuff like that, right? They're basically just a way to like stroke the cis white male's ego. Anyway, I'm just laughing because like when I thought about switching from like heavily edited videos to live streams, I was like, but then I can't stop myself from like saying stuff. I can't like edit it out or whatever. But you know, I don't think that's bad. Like I think it's widely known, right, that like IQ tests are biased. I don't think that's that bad a thing to say. Let's check that. Let's check that. IQ test bias, because I'm pretty sure that's a thing. Since this is the first result, must be good, right? Blah blah blah. These are questions from the online intelligence course. Going to be focusing on abstract. Blah blah blah. Education systems use them. Online quizzes. Blah blah blah. If you want to boast. Blah blah blah. But this is supposed to be about bias. Why screening for intelligence is so controversial? Yeah, so let's get to it. At its conception, it provided a relatively quick and simple way to identify and sort individuals based on intelligence, which was and is still highly valued by society. In the US and elsewhere, institutions such as the military, police screen potential applicants with them. Blah blah. Blah blah. But let's get to the meat. Let's get to the meat. Critiques. Critiques of such hereditarian hypotheses, arguments that genetics can powerfully explain human character traits and even human social and political problems, cite a lack of evidence and weak statistical analyses. Critiques contained today, blah blah blah. Oh, there we go, yeah. In their darkest moments, IQ tests became a powerful way to exclude and control marginalised communities using empirical and scientific language. So basically they're using like fancy words to make it sound as if what they're saying is like scientifically, factually true, but actually it's fucking not. Supporters of eugenic ideologies in the 1900s used IQ tests to identify so-called idiots, imbeciles, and the feeble-minded, which were people who geneticists argued threatened to dilute the white Anglo-Saxon genetic stock of America as if we're fucking animals. Yeah, and as a result of eugenic arguments, many American citizens were later sterilised, and so on and so forth. So basically, like, IQ tests are like a bullshit way to discriminate against people and make people feel like they're somehow justified in like talking shit and doing fucking awful stuff to people that they don't like, purely based on like the fucking colour of their skin, shit like that. Debate over what it means to be intelligent and whether or not the IQ test is a robust tool of measurement continues to elicit strong and often opposing reactions today. Some researchers say that intelligence is a concept specific to a particular culture. They maintain that it appears differently depending on the context, in the same way that many cultural behaviours would. For example, burping, like No, burping, as in like belching, may be seen as an indicator of enjoyment of a meal or a sign of praise for the host in some cultures and impolite in others. Yes, this is true. Yeah, so it's biased. Has a lot of like cultural shit used for good. At the same time, there are ongoing efforts to demonstrate how the IQ test can be used to help those communities who have been most harmed by them in the past. In 2002, the execution across the US of criminally convicted individuals with intellectual disabilities who are often assessed using IQ tests was ruled unconstitutional, right? So people who are argued to have like a low IQ, who may not fully understand that their criminal actions were wrong, therefore they did, they committed crimes, they did bad stuff, not really understanding what they were doing. So IQ tests and stuff have been used to argue that like, hey, we can't give them like a super bad punishment because they didn't actually know. Is what this is saying. So this can prevent individuals from facing cruel and unusual punishment in the US court of law. In education, IQ tests may be a more objective way to identify children who could benefit from special education services. This includes programs known as gifted education for students, blah, blah, blah. But, I mean, see, the thing is, right, like, I get that they're saying that IQ tests and IQ scores can be used to try and help people, but they still suffer from the same bias as they did before, right? So you're talking about then the difference between like bigging up and elevating people at like the high end of the IQ scoring scale, right? Being like, oh yeah, we're fucking better than everybody else. Then talking about like eugenics, which would, punish people on the lower end of the IQ scale and be like, you're fucking, what is it they say, like poisoning the stock or whatever, let's get rid of them. Then they're kind of turning it to say, well, actually, the people on the lower end of the scale can also be protected, but it's still biased. Who scores on the high or the lower end, like, no matter what you then do with the results and do with the scores, it's kind of seems to be, from fucking skimming this one article, still ignoring the fact that the way that they got to those scores for each individual is still based on bias, right? You following me? You hearing what I'm saying? So like, I don't know, like I didn't catch here where the first IQ test was like developed or whatever, or the one that's like generally accepted to use, when that was created, or like how many revisions there have been, like has anyone actually made an effort to get rid of these biases and to, adjust for culture and all these sort of things? Or are they just being like, oh, well, actually, let's also use them for other stuff? Do you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not so convinced. Anyway, I love it how we're like fucking already deviating from the main question, but yeah. So what fucking is MENSA? What is MENSA? They must have their own website, right? Mensa.org. What do they say about themselves? MENSA has members of all ages, blah, blah, blah. Activities, okay. Is this too small for y'all? Let's make it bigger, okay? Activities include the lively exchange of ideas through lectures, journals, and special interest groups, stimulating discussions and debates at local, regional, national, and international gatherings, thought-provoking surveys and investigations of members' opinions and attitudes. That seems like a fucking limited pool of people to, do you know? Sorry, anyway. Valuable assistance to researchers inside and outside MENSA in projects dealing with intelligence in MENSA. I mean, already I'm seeing like a lot of bias here, I mean, like, I guess the whole, like, in my head, like, why would you... I don't know where I'm fucking going with this, but do you know what I mean? Like, I guess in my head, why would you create an organisation where, like, the main criteria is, like, you only get in if we say that you're smart enough to get in? And then, like... What am I trying to say? Do you know what I mean? Like, because it kind of seems like here that they're, like, bigging themselves up, being like, oh, yeah, we're, like, lively discussions, stimulating discussions, like, valuable assistance, like, which they're obviously going to do. They're not going to be like, here, we meet from time to time, but... it's not very interesting and it's kind of useless. Like, I know they're not going to do that, but I'm kind of like, like as a resource, right? If you're saying like we're having like these really interesting discussions and, you know, we put out these surveys and we help with research, the pool of people that you're making this open to is naturally restricted by like the fucking premise of the group. Do you know what I mean? So it's kind of like, what the fuck am I trying to say here? Do you know that way when you do research or when you do some sort of a study, right? Like one of the things like you have to account for in like a proper, you know, scientific study or like research is you need to account for like who you have included in that. You know, you want to have like a diverse, well, usually, I don't fucking know, like typically you would want to have like a diverse range of participants to try and as best as possible like eliminate or reduce the bias in your findings, and again to make note of the kind of like conditions, circumstances or whatever under which that study was conducted, so that it can be like properly like criticized and sort of like, you know, picked apart in like in a good healthy scientific way, and also to see whether you can like recreate the results to understand to what extent the results are limited. So like don't get me wrong, like I think it's good that they're sort of saying, you know, hey, here's a place where we can get together and sort of like have discussions with like-minded people. But then it's kind of like this thing of like an echo chamber, right? Like if you're only talking to people, I mean, don't get me wrong, of course they have conversations outside of Mensa, like I'm not trying to say they only talk to Mensa members and no one else, but do you know what I mean? Like it's like if you're only like talking about certain things with people who are like very similar to yourself, it's kind of like, you know, an echo chamber. Like how are you going to get the diversity of like opinions, perspectives? Like how really stimulating and thought-provoking can it be if you already know that you're in a group with other people who like are very similar to yourself? And again, like I think it's good as well that they kind of open themselves up to say, you know, hey, like if some other fucking like research institute or wherever wants to get our opinion, we're open to that. I think that's cool as well. But again, it's just, you know, I think you have to be conscious of that, you know, if you kind of, I don't know what analogies are popping in my head, but you know what I mean? Like if you fucking, like if you reach into a barrel of exclusively tuna fish, you're gonna get like fucking tuna fish. How likely are you to get like a fucking an octopus or a salmon? Like I'm just rambling now, like saying things that I don't even fucking understand what I'm trying. I do know what I'm trying to say. I'm just fucking like let's move on, shall we? Okay, so from them themselves, so I was gonna click on what's on Mensa. Oh God, look at the way this is moving. I was going to click on what's on Mensa to hear it from the horse's mouth, so to speak, what they actually fucking do. Then I noticed this join us thing, and I was thinking like, oh, okay, looks like there's some, you know, non-white people there. That's good, that's nice. But all of their skin tones seem very similar and very light. So I'm kind of like, yeah, some points for effort, but also at the same time. Anyway, no one's perfect, I know that, but these are just the kind of things that I notice, okay? Leave me alone. Anyway, okay. When did Mensa begin? Who started it and why? Good fucking questions, I want to know. It was founded in England in 1946 by a barrister, which I believe is a type of like lawyer solicitor person. I asked this to someone actually. This is what I mean, like we just like go off topic here all the time. So I asked someone this. I think the difference between I think there is a difference between a lawyer, solicitor and a barrister. I believe a solicitor goes to court and a barrister is more just dealing with like the legal documents and stuff like that. Is it? I asked someone like who I met at fucking like Oktoberfest or something one time. There is a difference. Lawyer versus barrister versus solicitor. Concepts and different, yeah. By hd.org. Yeah, in the UK, yeah, because I think these are like more UK type things. Exactly, so a lawyer is anyone who can give legal advice, like someone who's like qualified to give some sort of legal advice. So that includes both solicitors and barristers, legal executives and stuff like that. However, a solicitor is a specific type of lawyer who gives legal advice and represents them in court. Yeah, so I was right. That's what I said, right? They deal with business matters, contracts, conveyance, wills, inheritance and stuff like that. But they're the ones that actually can go to court. And a barrister is a special kind of lawyer. Wait, what? Right, a solicitor is a lawyer who gives legal advice and represents the clients in courts. And a barrister is a lawyer who represents clients in the court. Wait, so they don't give legal advice? Usually barristers are approached by the solicitors, who are contracted by them to give legal advice in a particular area. Oh, okay, so I was a little bit confused there. So normally the solicitor will engage directly with the client and is contracted by them. Oh God, this is so fucking, anyway, they would make the preparatory work of the case, investigation and stuff like that. And then when the case demands a court appearance or whatever, should the solicitor require the special advice, then they would get the barrister in. Okay, so I got that a little bit wrong, but the kind of main distinction was somewhat in the right ballpark. Okay. But however, in the US, the legal system doesn't make a distinction between solicitors and barristers. They call them both lawyers. So basically anyone who's able to like practice law and give legal advice, they are generally just called a lawyer. And in the UK specifically, if you were to need help with some sort of legal matter, you are more likely to actually be like directly talking with a solicitor who can also represent you in court. But if it's a little bit like, I need more like support or information or whatever, then they would also like call up a barrister and get them to come in as well and support to be part of that legal team. But you as the client are unlikely to directly deal with the barrister. You would go through the solicitor. Okay? Yeah? Awesome. What were we talking about? Oh yeah, okay, so this Roland Beryl guy and Lance and Roland, lawyers and scientists and shit. Okay, so the original aims of MENSA are the same as they are today, which is to create a society that is non-political. I mean, is anything non-political really? Because like if you fucking have criteria that's based on like an inherently biased test. Anyway, so it's supposed to be non-political and free from all racial or religious distinctions. MENSA means table, and it's blah blah blah. It's a round table society where ethnicity, colour, creed, national origin, age, politics, education and social background are all completely irrelevant. This is something that I wondered about as well, right? Because it says like education and social background should be irrelevant. But obviously like your demographics and stuff like that like can play a part. Like if you like are born into a family that is being historically marginalized and they live in a poor area, then you're more likely to go to a school in that poor area that has poor funding, where the education's probably going to be not so great as like if you were born into like a wealthy, well-off society. Do you know what I mean? So then what I'm thinking of where that relates to intelligence, what actually is intelligence? Like, is intelligence something that you just have and that's it, it's not really going to change ever? Or can better education lead to better intelligence? And can your intelligence change over time? Because I'm like, my understanding is like intelligence can be like to do with like logic and reasoning and problem solving and stuff like that, rather than like what do you know, like what are the things that you've been taught and can like recall from your memory. but I'm not entirely sure. Let's see. Define intel. And then that other thing as well said that it was also to do with like cultural factors, right? So what actually is it? The definition of intelligence, the ability to apply knowledge, to manipulate one's environment, or to think abstractly as measured by objective criteria such as tests. It can also be the basic eternal quality of divine mind, whatever the fuck that is. Here also saying mental faculty. Information concerning an enemy, ability to perform computer functions, intelligent mind or mind, cosmic intelligence. Intelligence has been defined in many ways. The capacity for abstraction, logic, understanding, self-awareness, learning, emotional knowledge, reasoning, planning, creativity, critical thinking, problem solving. More generally, as it runs off the page, more generally, it can be described as the ability to perceive or infer information and to retain it as knowledge to be applied towards adaptive behaviours within an environment or context. It's most often studied in humans, but it's also been observed in both non-human animals and in plants. That's cool. Despite controversy as to whether some of these forms of life exhibit intelligence. Interesting. So it seems to like incorporate a lot of different stuff. So the definition of intelligence is controversial, varying in what its abilities are and whether or not it's quantifiable. Some groups of psychologists have suggested the following definitions. A very general mental capability that, among other things, involves the ability to reason, plan, solve problems, think abstractly, comprehend complex ideas, learn quickly, and learn from experience. Okay, so I guess then in relation to my question, like it's not about, again, necessarily just what you know is fact. Like you can't fucking like be great at trivia, pub quizzes and say that you're highly intelligent. It's like more than that. Like it's not enough just to know something. You need to know, like you need to actually like understand it and then be able to use that information to apply it to something at a later date. It's not merely book reading, a narrow academic skill, or test-taking smarts. Rather, it reflects a broader and deeper capability for comprehending our surroundings, catching on, making sense of things, figuring out what to do. Okay. Yeah, so there's a lot of other definitions. Judgment, otherwise called good sense, practical sense, initiative, faculty of adapting to one's circumstances, autocritique. Capacity of the individual to act purposefully, to think rationally, and deal effectively with his environment. I mean, rational thinking, like, isn't that quite a subjective concept? Because I think most people would consider themselves as being rational thinkers. I think most people wouldn't be like, oh yeah, I'm completely irrational, like I just jump to conclusions that don't make sense, you know what I mean? Like what I'm thinking of is, for example, with like conspiracy theorists, like in their minds, I'm sure that they do think that the conspiracies they believe in make sense and that it is, you know, that they got there, they believe in them by what they perceive to be thinking rationally, whereas like other people who don't believe in conspiracy theories, they would, you know, probably think that it's ridiculous and they're not thinking rationally, you know. And again, you know, subject to what the actual goal or purpose of the thing was and cultural stuff, like who's to say what's rational or not. That's interesting. I think it's interesting anyway. To my mind, a human intellectual competence must entail a set of skills of problem solving, enabling the individual to resolve genuine problems or difficulties that he or she encounters, and when appropriate to create an effective product, and must also entail the potential for finding or creating problems, and thereby laying the groundwork for acquisition of new knowledge. So over on the side here, it's saying that there are different types of intelligence, like in humans: emotional, social, book smart, and street smart, non-human animals, plants and stuff. I'm interested to see what it says under the book smart, street smart. Concepts of book smarts and street smarts are contrasting views based on the premise that some people have knowledge gained through academic study but may lack the experience to sensibly apply that knowledge, while others have knowledge gained through practical experience, living their damn lives, but may lack accurate information usually gained through the study by which to effectively apply that knowledge. Hector noted that given the importance of learning through text in our own personal lives and in our culture, it's perhaps surprising how utterly dismissive we tend to be of it. It is sometimes derided as being merely book knowledge, and by having it as being book smart. In contrast, knowledge acquired through direct experience and apprenticeship is called street knowledge, and having it to be street smart. Yeah. So let's just directly ask the question, can intelligence change over time? Quora. No, your IQ is not constant psychology today. Let's just fucking look at the first one. From Quora, who obviously, like, you know, great results. Anyway, where are the fucking answers? Okay. Yes, though there is considerable debate over the timing of the effects. Unfortunately, fluid intelligence tends to decrease with time, starting in either the 20s or 30s. Average raw IQ scores decrease with age, though the average IQ at older ages stays at 100 because the tests are normalized for each age. Okay, so it's saying then that the IQ score that you would get is already sort of relative to your age. They're already adjusting the end score based on how old you are at the time of taking the test. There's disagreement over the decline, blah, blah, blah. Keep in mind there's a significant amount of variability in the rate at which cognition declines. This seems to be quite a thorough answer, actually, which we're not going to read. So I'm sorry, I'm just thinking about, because there seems to be like IQ decreasing. I want to know if it can improve. I mean, obviously, like when you're just born, then it's gonna fucking improve, but do you know what I mean? I'm just interested, like, again, this thing of like education, schooling and stuff like that. Reject. Let me see. Okay, Richard Nisbet says, yes, your IQ can change over time. But IQ tests give you the same answer to a very substantial extent, even over a period, blah, blah, blah. The older you are, the more stable your score will be. Blah, blah, blah. Stephen Sessi also says yes. This isn't what I want. Maybe let's go. Let's go back to Quora. How much can intelligence increase over time? Like, I don't understand why Quora fucking gives you like related questions before it gives you the actual fucking answer to the one that you've clicked on. That just like... Okay, what does Joshua say? Joshua says that's controversial. There's some evidence that appropriate mental exercises can improve memory and the size of the brain regions can increase in response to practice. But IQ seems to be about 75% inherited in adults, and many of the environmental influences affect us prenatally or in childhood, so it seems unlikely that one can achieve a significant increase in fluid intelligence as an adult. Still, one can always learn and improve performance on a given class of problems. For example, perfect pitch. Interesting. So it seems then that in the sort of crucial developmental years of the human brain, then that can be the biggest factor. So if you catch it early, then you can increase intelligence theoretically. But after a certain point, it's like, it's just downhill. Okay. Yeah, right, let's go back to Mensa then. What are they saying? Blah, blah, blah. Mensa takes no stand. Yeah, okay, fine. Today there are around 145,000 Mensans, is what they call them. The members are called Mensans. In roughly 90 countries. So the purposes of Mensa are to identify and foster human intelligence for the benefit of humanity. How does one foster human intelligence? To encourage research into the nature, characteristics and uses of intelligence, and to provide a stimulating intellectual and social environment for its members. Interesting. What kind of activities do they get involved in? Exchange ideas, investigation? Yeah, that's what it was saying before. Is there such a thing as a typical member? No, there's not. Apparently. There are famous Mensans and prize-winning Mensans, but the vast majority are people whose names you won't have heard of, etc., etc. So it's just then like a club. An official smart people club, I guess. Mensa IQ challenge. Oh. Genes and environment and shit like that. And what's the Mensa IQ challenge? I want to know what this is. Hello? Oh, okay. I just loaded so quickly I didn't even notice the page changing. Okay. We'd like to thank these people for granting us permission to use our online practice IQ test. The Mensa IQ challenge is provided for entertainment purposes only, and your score will not qualify you for Mensa. But if you're pleased with your score, you might want to consider taking a properly administered and supervised IQ test. Sorry, I think I've got like a fucking grain of coffee in my braces. That's why I'm doing this. Anyway, engine supports multiple languages and blah 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 blah. Okay, so we can do the test directly here. Awesome, excellent. Okay, should we do it? Yeah, let's do it. This is the IQ test made by Mensa Norway. This online test gives an indication of general cognitive abilities represented by an IQ score between 85 and 145, where 100 is the population average. This test does not serve as a substitute for a professional one. Blah blah. It consists of 35 problems that must be solved within a 25-minute time limit. But I digress too much, and it takes me a while to read stuff. That's discrimination. All the items consist of entirely visual patterns with progressive difficulty and do not require specialised knowledge of mathematical skills. Each correct answer gives 1 point, and all items are weighted equally. There's no bonus for rapid completion or penalty for wrong answers, so it is in your advantage to use the time well and to guess whenever unsure. I mean, should they really be encouraging you to guess? Because if you just so happen to guess the right answer, that's not really a reflection of your intelligence. That's just like literally fucking guess. Anyway, for the results to be as valid as possible, please make sure that the room you sit in is properly ventilated and free from distractions, and that you can work uninterrupted for 25 minutes. The problem with that is I'm a fucking distraction to myself. I mean, that's kind of like one of the primary entertainment factors of the series. Anyway, whatever. Please select your age range to start the test. Okay. Let's do it. Okay, what's my IQ? Oh, what? Oh, is it a fucking iframe? Oh my god. Oh, so this is still explained. You know, I don't think I can do this zoomed in because I can't even, like, I can barely fucking see what's there. So, sorry if it means you can't read this, but I need to be able to fucking see it because I've only got 25 minutes. Okay. So in this example, you would see a grid with 8 shapes that follows a certain ruler pattern with the 9th missing. Here, see, so if I'm going to be reading out all this stuff to you, it takes me longer to read it out loud than it does in my head. But you don't exactly want to see me sitting here in silence for 25 minutes, do you? Anyway, so after you have worked out the relationship between the shapes, you can choose which of the 6 alternatives completes the pattern. You notice that all the shapes in each row are similar in both shape and in colour. In each column, there is one of each shape. The correct answer is therefore B. Sorry, see, I'm already distracting myself just because I'm wanting to do something with my hands, so it's just looking for a thing. Okay, yeah, so the answer in this case would be B. Right, fine. Should we start the test? Right, fuck it, go. Oh, exercise 1. They're too big to fit. Okay, so then we're looking for the pattern. So this one then would be A. We're looking for the pattern again. This is too hard to I can't see it all in one. So then we've got fucking diamonds, this one. What's the pattern? So this one. What's the pattern? Then this one. Then this one. I guess I'm not reading out the fucking answers and questions then, am I? I'm just doing this on fucking, I guess this one. Like, I don't even know what I'm looking at. I'm literally just doing it by feeling. I couldn't tell you. This one is a little bit trickier. I'm gonna say this one. I don't fucking know. This one? No, that's already been. This one is trickier. This one is trickier. I don't know what this one is. This one has me. I'm just gonna pick this one. I don't know what that one is. I mean, it said that like you don't have to do it too fast, right? So maybe I should slow the fuck down a bit and pay more attention instead of just like feeling pressured. I do feel the pressure to like do it quickly, honestly. Whatever. I mean, don't need to spend ages on it, right? I feel like this one. I don't fucking know. Arrows and shit. I feel like this one. I don't know. What is that? And then, yeah, so then this one. How entertaining is this for you that you're just fucking listening to me go M? I feel like this one. I'm literally just doing this off fucking feeling. This one. I mean, like, I guess, like, you could call it instinct, right? Instinct or feeling, but this is, like, the kind of, the subconscious cognition that goes around, right? The subconscious pattern recognition. Like, it will be something that I'm, like, subconsciously recognizing what patterns are, or failing to recognize them. This could be the case. So it's one of the ones with 3 for sure. But which one? I think it's gonna be this one. It's gonna be me. Isn't that a fucking like NSYNC song? gonna... This one? Not so sure about that. This one? Like, are these super obvious? Like, are you watching this being like, what the fuck are you doing? Yeah, this one. I think it's gonna be this one. I don't know. It'd be interesting, like, to see at the end if it does actually tell you what the patterns were. Because some of these, like, I just don't fucking know what I'm even looking at. What is this? Yeah, I do feel like probably if I felt like less pressure to do it like really quickly, and I would actually take the time to like work it out, because there's always like there's going to be an element of you can take more time to actually properly analyze it, identify the patterns, test your hypotheses, you know what I mean? But when you're kind of feeling under pressure to do it quickly, it does, in my opinion, change the dynamic somewhat. This one is like really hard for me to concentrate on, like to even look at it, to be honest. So I'm just gonna fucking take a guess, okay? Like, yeah. No, I don't think it was that one. No, I'm not happy with that guess. There's just something saying that like I'm not sure that it's that one. I don't fucking know. Like whatever. Anyway, what's going on here? It's like somehow adding this shit together, right? So then that would be this one. That's got none. I don't know what this is. I feel like it's... this one? I don't know. Yeah, it's pretty tough to try and make this entertaining while I'm doing this. I apologize. I didn't expect it to be like this, honestly. I thought it'd be more like reading shit. But I guess it's good that it's not, right? Yeah, I honestly feel like too much in a rush. I feel like if I wasn't under the time pressure and then also like trying to talk to you at the same time, so it's not just, as I say, 25 minutes of silence, I do feel like it would be better, personally. Whatever, I don't know if I can guess. I keep seeing the letter K here. It's like distracting. What is this? What am I looking at? What's the going down? It's going down. I'm yelling timber. I'm gonna pick this one. What is going on here? What is going on? and curiouser. I couldn't tell you why I'm even selecting a lot of these. I don't know. Oh, clocky clock. I feel like I could figure this one out if I tried hard enough. Do you know that way my brain isn't like wanting to right now? I don't think that's right. Fucking this one? I don't know. I'm really interested to see what this is going to be. Wall stick figures. I don't know. I feel like this one, but it's a bit too much, this one, I think. Like in my mind as well, I'm like rotating these shapes. I'm like seeing stuff that like I can't hold on to because my working memory is poor. What am I seeing? I don't know what I'm seeing. Like, is this obvious to you? Like, do you know what you're looking for? Do you know where you're going to? Do you like the things that life's showing you? See what I mean? I'm a distraction to myself, right? We've got less than 15 minutes to just fucking complete this. Oh, but we're on question 29 already, so we do actually have plenty more time, but I just feel like I'm in a rush, you know? I just feel the pressure, regardless. What's it gonna be? What's it gonna be? I don't know. This one. This looks like a crossword. It's just gonna distract me now. Feeling like it's a crossword. This one. I don't know. This one? Jeez. I'm surprised that this is all that the test is. I thought it would be more varied because this seems to be like very much the same sort of thing 35 times, which like I've done tests before where it's like, you know, there's a section that's this, like same premise over and over and over again, but then the next section would be a different premise over and over and over again. So I'm a little bit like, I don't know. I don't know. This looks like speakers. Oh, you can't see my cursor. The one right in the middle just reminds me of speakers. I don't know why. It also is kind of like, you know, the flags that they use at air traffic control. It reminds me of a bit of that as well. I don't know. I feel like this one. I really am just fucking picking. Some of these look like cat ears. Cat ears. Like, there will be patterns to these, obviously. But it kind of like, I don't know, just because I know that like, it's unrealistic for me to be able to definitively figure out like my hypothesis for what the patterns are and then test them to my satisfaction, it kind of makes me then just impatient and I'm like, yeah, whatever, I'll just pick one, you know? But I would like to actually think things through, you know, I like to be able to think things through show my working and all that. But this doesn't really allow for that, and maybe that's part of the point, you know? Maybe that's supposed to add to it, but I don't know. I don't know. I'm kind of like, Sometimes I feel like I'm just picking the one that I like the look of the most as well, which I feel like that's not really the point of the exercise either. Whatever. Oh, this reminds me of like email symbols and stuff like that. Oh, we should look at like Rorschach's. I feel like this one. Oh, okay, now I've been through all and I can finish to get my score or go back if I want to have a look at some of the other figures. I mean, I could have another look in 9 minutes, but I've kind of had enough of this. Finish! What's my cue, bitch? Are you ready? I know, but I don't want to. I'm done. Okay, so IQ is measured at 105, which is about average. Is there any more? Let me make it bigger again. Because like having it in a fucking iframe was a bit problematic. Your IQ was measured to 105, which is equivalent to the 63rd percentile with a standard deviation of 15. Are you smart enough for MENSA? No. I mean, yeah. I mean, I don't have many opinions on that score. Average is average is average. It was statistically likely that I would be average. I'm so sorry. Didn't mean to cough right in your ear there. But then what are the other tests like? Because as I say, I feel like that kind of it was just the same thing 35 times. You know, it would be interesting if there was other ones. Oh, there are revisions to this one. That's nice. What does it consist of? Yeah, like what's that? Like working memory. I've got fucking ADHD. Anyway, because like at some point as well, many years ago, I also did the Thomas GIA, the Thomas General Intelligence Assessment, which you can't get for free. I tried that already. Oh, hello, my one viewer. Hiya. But that one like had different stuff. Let me see. Sun for Renee Intelligence. I'm just interested to see like do other IQ tests actually have like different kinds of questions. Quest example? I don't fucking know. Practice questions, yeah. Let's see. Wondering what kinds of questions your child will get? Yes, I am. So visual processing is one. What is silly or impossible about this picture? What? Visual spatial processing. I guess it helps if you read the whole thing through, but I'm not into that. Sample question, vocabulary. What is this called? Yeah, knowledge. Why would you use a scale? Procedural knowledge. Demonstrate how to properly use something. Yeah, so these are like, according to this one, there are like different tests and stuff like that. I wonder why that one then so wasn't. Let me see. Getting your IQ tested, FAQs, how do I qualify? We already know. Okay, so I need to get a score, but how can I find out my IQ? There are a large number of tests with different scales. A result on one test of 132 can be the same as a score of 148 on another. Some tests don't use IQ, some intelligence tests don't use IQ scores at all. This is now too small for me. MENSA keeps it simple with a cutoff of 98%. How do I get proof? Nah, I don't care. I've never been tested. Not sure I'm ready to take it. Pre-tests. We don't do pre-tests. Why not try the IQ challenge? Let me diff. different types of IQ tests? Because I mean, what are the most used tests? Because I do think it's better, again, we're talking about diversity, to have like a different range of, different things that they're testing for rather than just the same thing over and over again. These tests can be taken for free. There are a lot of free tests, but they are unreliable, so don't take them too seriously. If it says you're a dumbass, you might not be, and if it says you're really smart, you also might not be. Yeah, like verbal intelligence, numerical, spatial, logical, I feel like a lot of that was missing from the other one. But anyway, so the point is you do get different intelligence tests. This is quite long, okay, so let's end soon, but there was just one more thing that I'm really interested to know, which is why do so many serial killers have high IQs? Because for real, why do highly intelligent people commit crimes? Why super smart people may be drawn to a life of crime. Blah, 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 preamble. Many prevailing theories of intelligence suggest that people with lower IQs are the ones most likely to break the law, since impulsivity, struggles at school, etc. Are linked to criminality. In comparison, intelligent people have traditionally been seen as less likely to commit crimes. Blah, blah. But there may be an IQ threshold after which a high IQ becomes more of a risk factor. Blah, blah, blah. Claim developer. So, why might the exceptionally bright be more inclined to commit crimes in the first place? Many of Olison's respondents discussed the alienating facts of their high intelligence. Social maladjustment could be a possible explanation. Some research suggests that highly gifted experience is more isolated, they might be bullied more, and have difficulty in forming attachments, all of which are also risk factors. However, other studies have found no evidence of maladjustment amongst this group. Another possible explanation is that extremely intelligent people may feel less bound by traditional moral codes. Many offenders interviewed said they felt their own analyses of right and wrong were legitimate, possibly superior alternatives to obedience to conventional social norms and laws, i.e., according to the law, the things that they're doing are criminal and they shouldn't be doing it, but actually, according to their own logic and way of thinking, there could be nothing wrong with what society deems criminal, and that's why they go ahead and do it. Another issue is that the bulk of his gifted cohort were recruited from a private high IQ society, such as MENSA. People who join such clubs might not represent highly intelligent people in general, because some people are quite happy being highly intelligent without joining a club and getting a certificate. What's this? Caveats notwithstanding, Olison's book marks the first major study of adult offenders with genius-level IQs and has implications for criminal justice and public policy. Not only does it mean that elites are just as likely to lie, cheat and steal as anyone else, but it also means that our prisons are largely filled with unlucky people whose real crime was getting caught. I mean, the whole thing about prisons and what they're really for is another fucking thing, isn't it? Psychopaths, high IQ scores. Here's a surprising look at the average serial killer, according to Business Insider. Yeah, I was just seeing if there's any other interesting articles here, but a lot of it seems to be just listing ones that have high IQ. But anyway. But I'm also interested then, does it just seem like a lot of serial killers have high IQs because that's an interesting and perhaps surprising characteristic that people are interested in and they want to click on it and read it? Or actually is the proportion of serial killers with high IQs actually completely in line with the general population, regardless of whether they've committed a crime? I don't really know, But anyway, like I say, I think this has gone on for long enough. I guess some of that was like semi-interesting, but as I say, when I was taking that test for 25 minutes, that was a bit of a fucking letdown. I'm just interested in like these tests and stuff like that in general, just because I think it's interesting, like what people seem to think qualifies as like a good test of a certain thing or a good measure of a certain thing. Like some of it's just like for fun, you know, like when you were younger and you got like these stupid magazines that would do like these quizzes, or you would like do A, B and C, and like if you scored most of this, or if your range was like between this and that, like they're fucking stupid, but it's just like for entertainment, do you know what I mean? Which is what this channel is all about. So yeah, so what did we find out? We found out that Mensa is just like, yeah, just a fucking club for people who are smart, and they kind of say that they do stuff, but it's not really, I didn't find it that interesting. What else did we find out? We found out about like IQs and the bias and some of the testing and stuff like that. I'm gonna be honest, I was hoping that it would be more interesting than what it was, but regardless, in terms of like, am I off the struggle bus and feeling like okay to carry on my day? I would say so. I think this serves its purpose, so I'm satisfactorily entertained. Are you, my dear? I hope so. I hope, yeah, that you enjoyed this and that you have a good day and such. And yeah, hello, goodbye. I'll see you next time. All right. Bye bye. Bye bye. Bye bye.